Hey everybody, it's Doug. I've been asked to do a little video to talk a little bit about my leadership journey, really the evolution of it, so to speak, from being what I would say an extremely self-centered, ego-driven leader to being more of a people-focused, leader with a servant's heart. And it's going to be fun. You know, there's actually, some of you might not know this. There's actually like literally two cellular advantages in our history. There was the pre-2004 Cellular Advantage, and there was the post-2004 Cellular Advantage. The difference between the two, the pre-2004 Cellular Advantage was very much an ego-driven cellular advantage. We went from survival mode, which, to explain survival mode, this thing started in 1993 with two mall stores. My wife and I worked 7 days a week, mall hours, open to close. It was we were in survival mode, and that meant we were going to do whatever it takes to keep the wheels on this thing. So it was very much, let's just grind and grind and grind and just try to make it through to another day, another week, and another month, and another year. That whatever it takes attitude, I think, really got us through, punched us through to where we were able to have a little bit of success. And we got to the point where we were wanted. And that's how I would say it. We were wanted by other carriers. Sprint came to town. They wanted us. Same with Nextel, AT&T, and T-Mobile. So we ended up with 5 carriers representing all 5, excluding Verizon. And that gave us a neat proposition for the customer. They could come in, they could shop all the different things, take a look, find out what the best fit was, and that's where we went. And we did that for a number of years. We added a few more stores, and this is really the part where being wanted, being desired, and having some success really turned into a big ego deal for me. And I was like, all right, I'm becoming kind of this big. I'm the CEO in Des Moines, Iowa now, and I'm becoming this big deal. And for me, that was probably kind of the start of the down. We'll get to that here in a second, but then U.S. Cellular came knocking on our door. We had a visitor from Chicago. His name was Jay. He's one of the top execs at U.S. Cellular. And he came into us and he says, "Hey," he says, "I really like you guys as a non-exclusive agent. You got 6 stores. You put up good numbers for us, but I would love you if you were an exclusive agent again." And we were like, I don't know how we can give up the revenue of all these other carriers. Jay, this probably doesn't make any sense. And then he dropped the bomb on us and he says, No. He goes, we picked you, Cellular Advantage, as one of 4 agents out of over 450 in the country to become what we call a national agent. And the qualifications of a national agent were 25 stores in 4 states or more. And part of the deal was we had to have that done by a deadline of, I believe it would have been May 1st, which was basically 12 months after we would sign this contract to become this national agent. For me, like, holy crap, I started doing the projections, figuring out the numbers, and I'm like, we're going to make the Inc. 500. We're going to be one of the 500 fastest growing companies in the country. And to me, that was a big deal because that's not something that a lot of people can say that they did or achieved. And I'm like, I'm going to become even a bigger deal, a bigger CEO. And to me, that was really important. So we hit the go button on this deal, and we opened our 25th store, basically to the date of 12 months out. We got ourselves about $2 million in debt, and this is where it gets good. So, as you know, things don't always go according to plan, and basically we grew ourselves right into the ground. We're out of money. The $2 million was gone. We'd spent every penny of it growing and opening all these stores. We were out of compliance with the bank. They had different ratios and different things that we had to maintain to be in compliance with the loan documents. We were not in compliance. Family and marriage was a mess. I was never home in that growth period. They were unfortunately not a priority. It was all about growing and being a big deal. And personally, I was out of control as well. I was, if I wasn't working, I was probably partying or drinking, and it was just really a personal mess. And I got to the point where it's like, what's the point of all this? There's a point to be a big deal. Is it, there's got to be more there's got to be more to life than just this. Because we're at the point where, I mean, if the phone rang and it was the bank, they could be calling to say, you know what, we're done. Um, it was just, it was one of those edges, one of those spots where I guess the analogy I've used or the visual I've used is you're kind of walking along the edge of a cliff, and you take just one wrong step and you're going to fall down to your death, or are you going to take a couple steps back and get back on the path and into safety? And so at this point, I mean, this is really where there's a faith component that comes into play for me. I mean, that's a topic for another day, but basically, I was up for doing things a new way. And I jumped in with both feet, and that led to me writing my own eulogy. I wrote two of them, actually. I wrote one as if I died right then during the mess. What would people say about me at my funeral? And then I wrote a second one as if I lived a long life, I got my act together, finished strong. What are people going to say about me then? And that's the one I get out. I get it out a couple times a year, and I want to make sure that my calendar matches up with what that eulogy says to make sure that things are that I'm staying on track. That eulogy led to me boiling my life down to one word. And what's that one word for me? It's significance. How can I live a life of significance, of meaning? And that word led to ultimately Nick Vellotti being able to get the green light to start having his 9 a.m. meeting sessions, where he was starting to work with staff on just life. How do we do life better? And he starts pouring himself into different people, and the results and the stories that came out of it were truly amazing. Those things led to a new purpose statement, the purpose statement, which is, to enrich the quality of life of our own and our customers at each interaction. It led to the core values that we do. It led to an attitude of being of service as compared to being served by the company. Let's be of service. Let's be of service to each other. Let's be of service to our customers, but really internally, let's be of service to each other and help each other out. Ultimately that led to the annual themes that we've had going. And so my encouragement to everybody here is let's just keep this momentum going. Let's go out and let's do hard things together. The best is yet to come. Let's have a great 2021.